On the next Canine Corner, we'll meet the canine dogs from the Torrance Police Department, and we'll show you a dog obedience class that meets right here in Torrance. And Noah's Bark Animal Rescue is here with some great dogs who are looking for their forever homes. All this coming up on the next Canine Corner. Hi there, I'm Riannon Trutanich, your host for Canine Corner, the show that your dog will give 2 paws up. We have a great show for you today. The Torrance Police Department's Canine Unit is here to show us a demonstration, and we stopped by the Dog Obedience Club of Torrance's class. But first, Noah's Bark Animal Rescue is here with some amazing dogs who are looking for their forever homes.
Noah's Bark has been around for 15 years. We mostly rescue from the city shelters, such as South LA. We usually take medical cases and dogs that really have no chance of getting out of the shelter. And all of our dogs are in foster homes, so they all are with families and we know all their temperaments. And then we bring them to adoptions every Saturday and they get adopted. Our adoptions are on Torrance Crossroads at the Petco near Home Depot. The one thing that we really need is foster homes. The more foster homes we have, the more dogs we can save. And we have to turn down a lot of dogs because we don't have enough foster homes. This is Gus. He's a 1-year-old 37-pound Irish Terrier mix. He was found in South LA and he was hit by a car. He doesn't have he never had any serious injuries, but just a few bruises. He loves everyone, dogs, cats, and he would be a great family dog. This is Kayla. She's a 5-year-old lab poodle mix. Her mom was actually a purebred poodle. We're guessing is part lab too. She's very intelligent. Sit. She's good with other dogs. Down. Up. She can dance. Come on, dance. Dance. Sit. Can you shake? Shake. Good girl. And she should go to a home with kids over 10 since she's very active. This is Joplin. She's a 14-month-old terrier mix. She was thrown out of a car when she was just a puppy. She loves other dogs and cats, and she's very active, so a home with a yard would be best. And she loves playing with kids. This is Sugar. She's a 10-month-old purebred Shar-Pei. She was found in an abandoned apartment building, and she was skin and bones. She had ear infections, eye infections. She was in really bad shape, and one of our volunteers was contacted, and she took her home. And she loves other dogs, she likes cats, she's potty trained, and she would be a great family dog.
If you're interested in adopting any of these dogs, please contact Noah's Bark Animal Rescue at noahsbarkdogs@yahoo.com. Those were some adorable dogs. Now, canine unit dogs are an important part of any police department, and we were able to meet the dogs from the Torrance Police Department.
Dogs in the canine unit, they're assigned to an officer, a canine officer. We're assigned a patrol just as a regular officer is, or a 2-man officer unit. So we respond to calls for service, take reports as well. But in addition to that, our primary function is a search for suspects and evidence. So if we go to a call, maybe a business is broken into, we'll utilize canines to search the business prior to sending officers in there, just to keep the officers safe or ensure that no suspects inside there.
The canine dogs are an important addition to the police department.
Our dogs, they help us do so many things out in the field. The thing they probably help us do the most is narcotics, and that's finding narcotics with their nose. People are getting very creative on how they want to hide the drugs, because obviously if you get caught, you get in trouble. So they're coming up with some pretty creative ways to hide those drugs, and we use the dog's nose to our advantage.
The officers and canine dogs demonstrated what happens if a suspect refuses to get out of a car.
We've tried other means of trying to get them out of the car. If they're not willing to come out of the car, we will utilize the canine. We'll give them verbal commands to exit the vehicle willingly. If not, then we'll use the canine to apprehend them, which we did in those scenarios. The dog will go apprehend the suspect, hold them till we can get there, and officers can come up and safely handcuff the suspect. Because we don't know if the suspect's armed still at that point, so the dog will bring the suspect to us, or the suspect, sometimes we'll have them, hey, bring the dog to us so we can physically see the suspect that he doesn't have any weapons, and then officers can safely approach him and take him into custody that way.
The selection process takes place for both the handler and the canine dog.
In order to become a handler, you have to put in some work, some interest prior to that. As we saw with some demonstrations earlier with the canine, the agitator, they play a big role in helping us train our dogs, so we want somebody that has been involved in that somehow. They start gaining experience on observing the dogs, how they react in different scenarios, understanding their behavior. So the hiring process, we want somebody that's been involved with the canine process for a while.
Once the officer is selected, they purchase the dogs from a vendor who brings them from Europe.
So we actually go out there and we test the dogs for 2 days, trying to find what we're looking for here at Torrance PD. We'll test the dogs, ultimately make a decision on what dog we would like that's going to suit our department, and the officer we selected the best, and we end up picking that dog.
After selecting their dog, the officer and canine dog participate in a training program.
It's a 6-week school that they have to go to. Me and Nemo, Officer Nemo, we just went to canine school. We just graduated in November, so it's a 6-week course, and we expose them to everything they're going to see out in patrol. Suspects hiding in vehicles, trash cans, buildings, basements, anywhere a suspect can hide, they get exposed to that, and just repetition, as well as more obedience. And then after that 6 weeks, they're ready to come out here and work a regular patrol unit. Every night we still train, in between calls, go do obedience, throw the ball, work on article searches with them during the shift. So it's always a constant training going on. Even when we go home on our days off, we're still training.
The training is what teaches canine dogs to focus and get their job done in the field.
With humans and how we work, if we're having a bad day, we didn't get enough sleep, something's going on at home, that might affect on how we search for these people. And these people need to be caught, and they need to be held accountable for what they did. A dog, he's going in, he has one job, one purpose, and that's to find the guy. Dogs don't have bad days. They're trained to push through that, and they're going to give their all to find that guy, and that's what we need. If we're looking for a very, extremely dangerous person, we need to find the guy, we need to find him fast, and we need to find him safely, and that's where we use Rex.
When they're not working, the canine dogs are able to relax and be a family dog.
Rex is an amazing animal, and why he's an amazing animal is because he's able to switch gears, and you need that for a police dog. That's the type of dog that we look for here at Torrance, one that can go to work, be excited to go to work, and do his job the way we ask him to. And it's a hard job. A police dog's job is very strenuous. It's stressful on the dogs. It's very physical. But we need a dog that also can go home and be a good family dog. Just be a dog, and that's what Rex is.
Even though they do a lot of work out here keeping us safe, the home life, he's a very happy dog. He goes home, he gets to relax and be a dog for the day, and when we come to work, then he knows it's time to go to work and go out there and make me proud.
Wow, those dogs are amazing. A big thank you to the Torrance Police Department for the demonstration. Now we're going to take a short break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll be spending some time at a dog obedience class right here in Torrance.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, pet them, care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can bring them with you wherever you go. You can jump, yell, hide and go seek, play dress up, or not, go for a walk, or not. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that. But you can adopt one. 'Cause we're connected. We're connected.
A car thief. A car thief with a conscience. Before we get all warm and fuzzy, remember this. Thieves steal nearly 700,000 vehicles every year in the U.S. That's 1 every 45 seconds. Protect your ride. If you know something about a car theft, call us at 1-800-TEL-NICB. Good dog. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
Welcome back to Canine Corner. I'm your host, Riannon Trutanich. Now, taking your dog with you in the car can be a lot of fun, but it's important to make sure your dog stays safe when you two hit the road. So we got your car pet safety questions answered.
Is it legal or is it safe to have your dog on the passenger side?
Well, it is legal. I probably wouldn't advise it, especially as us. We've had animals in our vehicle, and you know, animals can go where you don't want them to go. It'll go from next to you. It might go down where your feet are. Could get under the pedals. Could be distraction. We also get calls where dogs jump out of the window. People are driving along and their window is half down or down, and the dog does jump out. They do make restraints for dogs in vehicles. At the very least, I think I would have my dog leashed while it's in with me and somehow restrain it by its leash. Again, they're dogs. They don't really know, and going down the road could be harmful for them. Well, if we're talking about legal issues, it's not a violation of the law to have a dog in a vehicle unless you put that dog in harm's way. Too hot, too cold, and if it's going to be over, sometimes we get dogs in cars that are in overnight. If there's no food, no water, that could be a violation of the law. I mean, we generally see the negative part of dogs in a vehicle, so we as animal control would recommend leave your dog at home. If you're going to a dog park, great, take your dog with you in the vehicle. If you're going to the vet, take your dog. But beyond that, the dog doesn't want to sit in the car while you're at the restaurant, doesn't want to sit in the car while you're at Costco. And on days it doesn't take much temperature-wise, anything over, sometimes maybe even over the mid-70s outside, and the inside of your car could be well over 100. So unfortunately, people call us and we go out there, and it is a violation of California Penal Code 597.7 to leave a dog unattended in a motor vehicle when you're putting that dog in harm's way. Please contact us, Animal Control, or your police department. I mean, a dog can die in a vehicle in as little as 20 minutes, and it doesn't take much to go from 80 degrees outside to 130 degrees inside the vehicle. Well, it depends on your vehicle. Ideally, your dog should be in some type of crate or container, maybe in the back of the vehicle where it can't go, or again, be restrained, maybe in the back seat where it doesn't have access to jump around the vehicle. And don't leave it unattended in the vehicle unless absolutely necessary. Like I said, again, this PC 597.7 is a misdemeanor, and unfortunately, if your dog were to pass in your vehicle, pass away, it could be a felony.
If you have a question, contact us and we'll be sure to get you the right answer. Call us at 310-618-5762 or email us at caninecorner@torranceca.gov. Great questions and great answers. We stopped by the Dog Obedience Club of Torrance's class at Walteria Park to find out about their training program. Every Tuesday for the past 34 years, Rick Jacoby has been at Walteria Park training dogs.
For the betterment of people and their dogs, so less dogs get destroyed every year, is our goal here.
The Dog Obedience Club of Torrance is a 10-week program that teaches dogs basic obedience.
We start off with the basics of beginning novice, which is the heel exercise, which is the beginning of everything. And then we move into the more serious ones that will help maybe save your dog's life someday, the sit stay, the down stay, the recall, and then something that's called a finish, which is part of a recall exercise.
The class sizes are also a teaching tool.
The benefit of that is association. And people think association is dog playing, and it's not. The dog being in a vicinity with all those people and other dogs and see that nothing will happen to them and they have to maintain control, that builds association.
The dogs receive praise for what they do right.
We basically use what would be commonly referred to as a praise technique. We praise the dog for what they do right.
They do not use food or any other type of incentive during training.
You carry love with you wherever you go, and that's all you're teaching your dog is love. And that's the bottom line. And it's the same technique they've used since the conception of this club.
The praise technique helps strengthen the relationship between the dog and their owner.
That is a bonding between you and the dog learns to respect you. And when you bait dogs with food, then if you don't have food, your dog goes, forget this, and they take off.
And one dog owner in the class agrees.
They really know what they're doing. It's been an eye-opener for me, and I would suggest to anyone who really wants to have control of their dog, because he does it without treats and just praise, and it works.
It's not only a method that works, but it's a method that has stood the test of time. The classes have been held right here at Walteria Park since 1951.
Became a nonprofit in 1956 when it changed its name to the Dog Obedience Club of Torrance. And it has met at this park since 1951, every Tuesday night at 7:30 unless we get rained out or it's through the Christmas holidays.
Assistant trainer Joan Brogdon had her first involvement with the organization very early on.
50 years ago in this park, I actually took a class. They used to have junior handlers, and it was with the original trainer. And I started obedience then, and every dog I've ever had.
The class costs $50 and runs 10 weeks.
He's a problem dog, and Rick really knows how to work with problem dogs and issues and getting them to do what they're supposed to do and behave.
I would recommend that to anybody. And it doesn't even matter if you have a puppy or if you have a 5-6 years old dog. It doesn't matter the age. Rick always says that every dog you can train.
And not only can every dog be trained, but every dog needs to be trained.
Dogs need to know their rules, regulations, and boundaries, and this teaches them that, and it teaches you to be alpha, hopefully.
From the trainers to the owners, to the dogs, to the history behind the group, the Dog Obedience Club of Torrance is an important part of the canine community here in Torrance. For more information on the Dog Obedience Club of Torrance, please visit docot.org. Now, if you missed the adoption segment at the beginning of our show or just want to see the adorable dogs again, here's your recap. Gus is a 1-year-old Irish Terrier mix. He weighs 37 pounds. He was found in South LA and had been hit by a car. He gets along with other dogs and cats. He'd be a great dog for a family. Kayla is a 5-year-old Lab Poodle mix. She's very intelligent and very active. She likes other dogs. She'd do best in a home with children over 10. Joplin is a 14-month-old Terrier mix. She was thrown out of a car as a puppy. She loves other dogs. She would do best in a home with a yard. Sugar is a 10-month-old purebred Shar-Pei. She's potty trained and would be a good dog for a family. She loves cats and other dogs. If you're interested in adopting any of these dogs, please contact Noah's Bark Animal Rescue at noahsbarkdogs@yahoo.com. And that's all the time we have today. Thanks for joining us here on Canine Corner. I'm Riannon Trutanich, and we'll see you next time.